Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, November 22nd, and we got a lot to talk about today. First, I probably should spend a bit of time talking about my article on the Wall Street Journal's take on Google search manipulating or hand manipulating the search results. Two is I should talk about all the tremors over the past week or so, specifically around Google algorithmic updates. Three, I should talk about Bing and how they've been using BERT for a fairly long time compared to Google. Four, I should talk about Google indexing issues as well as some bugs around Google Search Console. And five, I should talk about Google Ads and the political changes around Google Ads. There's a lot more besides these things, so stay tuned. All right, so this week I posted, I think it was Monday morning at Search Engine Land, a story, kind of a reaction story to the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal basically went ahead and wrote a story. Let me just see if we can bring it up right here. As you can see on the screen, it shows Google interferes with search algorithms and changes your results. The internet giant uses blacklists, algorithm tweaks, and an army of contractors to shape what you see. So I read that story while I was driving back from actually a Google meeting, kind of talking about with Google how the community doesn't trust them and stuff like that and what they could do to help improve that, maybe. And then I'm reading this article. I'm like, okay, now here's clear evidence that Google, from a really good source, the Wall Street Journal, a reputable source, that Google is doing something that it shouldn't be doing, specifically with organic search. So I start reading through the article. It's literally like 25, 26 pages if you print it as a PDF. And I'm like, wait, Wall Street Journal really has actually no evidence. They've quoted a bunch of people, they said. So I reached out to a bunch of people they quoted, and they all said, well, no, I was misquoted, or I was misunderstood, or they took pieces of what I said and made it work the way they wanted to. They didn't source all their quotes. They didn't source everybody. And plus, they did a survey or analysis of Google search results based on 17 queries in the political and the trending spaces over a 17-day period or something like that. It was a very short period with queries that specifically dynamically change constantly and are probably more prone to being manipulated by outside sources, not inside sources. So I went through that article and I wrote a post around it where I said basically it was misunderstood and misquoted, and that was the issue around Google search, why many in the search community don't believe what the Wall Street Journal is talking about. And it's true. I think 95% of the search community say this is not how it works. I went through each point that the article made and gave rationale why it would not be specifically evil for Google to do what they're doing. All these things, nothing was new in the article. Google has manual actions. They didn't mention that really. Google has a way to repeal those manual actions. Google treats feature snippets and autocomplete suggestions and stuff like that differently. I'm not going to go through everything. I definitely recommend you read my story. I don't know if you could actually get the paywall on the Wall Street Journal, but I pretty much go through it in my story, and you can take a look at that. Obviously, it did upset some people in the SEO community. I apologize, but these are my real thoughts on what's going on. I don't have any deeper knowledge than you guys who are watching this video. We all know how Google search works, or we believe we know how Google search works. Of course, the only real people who know this information are the people who work with inside Google. And I don't have that access like they do, so maybe Google's doing some things that the conspiracy theorists believe in. I'm not sure. I have no evidence to prove that based on the Wall Street Journal article or based on me covering search for about 16 years now. That's what I have to say, and definitely read that article if you have time. Let's talk about, actually one more thing around that. It was funny because shortly after that, Matt Cutts was asked about a case from like 10 years ago or 15 years ago where a site, he said, basically a site went ahead and had issues with Google rankings, and it's been over almost a decade. We all have scars. Can you share what happened on the other side? And basically, he went ahead and basically said, Matt Cutts said, I don't recall the specific case, but in general, basically, he said, people often assume that a change with Google was a deliberate reaction to an immediate stimuli. At least in my experience, changes often took weeks or often months. We went through the levels of approval, consultation with other groups, potential PR, or even legal stuff, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, he's basically saying that in general, Google did not react in a very quick fashion to specific issues like this. Definitely take a look at that. It's very interesting to see. Again, this is years and years and years and years ago from somebody who doesn't work at Google anymore, but was very instrumental in Google search as well as search spam. This past week, there's been lots and lots of what I would call tremors, or what the industry would call tremors, or algorithm tweaks, or stuff like that around the rankings. And there's lots and lots of stuff going on. We reported on Monday, starting Friday, there was various algorithmic updates over the past week. Google has done major updates over the past week, and specifically over the weekend, people saw those tremors. And we saw a lot of things, including the signals, showing that. Google kind of confirmed it, basically saying, yeah, we do several updates all the time. Basically, see this, we've done these updates in the past. We always make changes, plus the web changes automatically, so things change. And that's what Danny Sullivan said here. And he also said, see here, when in terms to, we make several updates in the past week and so forth, we constantly make updates. Even John Mueller kind of commented on it that, yes, we are constantly making updates. But those updates have not stopped. The whole entire week, not starting from like last Friday or so, through even today, there's lots and lots of tremors all week long. It's just things are bouncing up all over the place. The community's chatter is pretty much still off the scales. It hasn't slowed down at all. And the tools are showing nice changes over the course of the week. Lots of spikes and so forth. You see here a bunch of spikes, dips, and so forth. Here, the thing is off the charts right over here. That's advanced web ranking. AccuRanker's off the charts. Big spikes over here as well. You can see cognitive SEO is off the charts as well. SEMrush is not, but if you drill into like specific categories, here's like the news category, you can see it's very, very changing all over the place. So something's going on with Google search. I'm not sure if it's like fixing things or changing things or reverting things or pushing things forward or what, but there's definitely something going on with Google search over the past couple weeks or so. And we are tracking it, but we don't have any inside information outside of that Google constantly does updates. Let's move over to Bing. So as you know, Google launched BERT in 10% of English language queries and for all feature snippets. But BERT has been in Bing for a while. Bing said that it's been live since April. Bing has been using BERT. Bing has been using BERT since April of this year. And Bing said that basically these models, not just BERT, but other models, including BERT, are now applied to every Bing search query globally. Not just 10% of US English languages, but all global searches around the world. So it's very interesting to see. Again, Bing has been using BERT for a while. I knew this off the record for a while as well, but now Bing is coming off on the record saying, yeah, we've been using BERT for a while here, and it's working pretty well. This is interesting. Remember, a month or so ago, Google announced that they have these new snippet controls, new meta tags to help you control what Google shows in the search results. So one of those meta tags was the max image preview tag. And if you put a none in there where you do not want Google to show the image preview for a specific image, that would actually result in Google not indexing the page completely. Google then went ahead and said, John Mueller said, this was a bug. He noticed this as well, he said, and the team has made some changes to fix it, and it should be live soon, and then they'll go ahead and reprocess all the affected URLs. So keep in mind that this is a bug. Google probably fixed it. Most of you probably didn't even use this tag, but if you did, and you used the meta, that thing with the none, then you may have been impacted. Don't worry, Google's going to fix it, and you'll be fine going forward. Google Search Console added a product results filter to the performance report. These are what product results look like. They have either ratings, stars, pricing, votes, etc., and stock numbers, statuses, and so forth. And if you go to the Google Search Console report, you have this new tab here under the search appearance to see product results if you have product-rich markup. You might just see it trending over here because that's when Google started collecting the data, and you can see clicks, impressions, and filtered all that stuff like you could in any performance report, which is nice to see. Google also added a feature to the rich results testing tool to let you see how Google Home's hubs and smart displays actually show your rich results for recipes specifically. So if you go to the rich testing tool and you, let me increase that. So if you go to the rich testing tool and you put a URL that has recipe data, and you click on the assistant over here, you will go ahead and see preview in Google Home Hub, which then just lets you see what it looks like in a Google Home Hub device, which is pretty cool. Again, more transparency there is really great. Google Search Console lost image search data between the dates of November 14th and November 19th. This means it's just a reporting bug, but if you filter by image data, you may notice that the click data has been dropped completely between the November 14th and 19th data. I didn't noticeably see it. I don't think it affected everybody, But some of that data has been lost forever. So just keep that in mind when you're reporting back to your clients with that information. Google is testing a rich results recipe preview like box feature that lets you preview the results without actually going to the publisher site. So you have this box carousel feature where you click on preview, and when you click on preview, it overlays this to show you the ingredients, the time, and so forth, with then a link to go to the web page. It used to be that you would just click on it, it will take you directly to the web page, which results, this technically results in potentially less traffic to the publisher's website. Danny Sullivan's like, well, based on this specific compact grid format, it makes it harder for people to know which recipes might be useful to them, such as the needed ingredients at hand. This test is meant to get more people, but limited info, while still redirecting them to the recipe page. And he goes on to basically say this is basically about the searcher trying to find what they need, and that's what we're trying to do. GoogleBot will not make requests to access your Google Analytics code and many ad scripts as well. So this was announced by Martin Splitt at XMX East. This is supposedly very well known, but this is just good to have confirmation from Google on that. There's a workaround to get the Noindex thing to get Google to no-index your pages faster. There's an issue. It used to be like you used to put the no-index tag on your site, then use the fetch for a GoogleBot to get Google to crawl the page and realize, hey, there's no index on that page, and that would expedite Google from removing that. The issue is it doesn't really work that way anymore because now there's the URL inspection tool, and the URL inspection tool doesn't really work that way. So Google's John Mueller said that a workaround is to test the page first live without the no index tag, then quickly add the no index tag before submitting it to re-indexing. And then when you hit submit to re-indexing after it's previewed, and you add the no index tag, then Google will reprocess it. And that's kind of like a hack or a way around it. On the Google Ads side, Google has added new rules around political ads around before the elections start. This is starting around January time of 2020, where specifically Google is going to limit the amount of targeting a political ad could do. I think it's just specifically to age, gender, and a general location like the zip code. Google's also going to limit the content options. You can no longer show ads that have deep fakes, misleading claims about census process, ads or destinations making false claims, or could significantly undermine participating trust in an electoral or democratic process. There's lots of things that Google's making changes to around their ads, specifically with political ads. Definitely take a look at that if you have any clients in the ad space, because this will apply directly to you guys. Google Ads is also testing a new car rental ad unit, which basically shows you the a little, I guess, rich result or a extension that shows you the prices by categories. You put in the type of car, the date, and then it'll show you different places you could buy that car, rent that car by price, which is pretty cool. This is not fully live, it's being tested. Microsoft Advertising has released a new Microsoft Advertising editor. It's redesigned from the ground up, lots of new features in it. This replaces the Bing Advertising Editor. Now it's the Microsoft Advertising Editor, and it has a lot of new features, so definitely take a look at that. Google My Business seems to be testing their own booking engine. So Mike Blumenfeld found this. We're actually going to the booking features, and you can actually select Google as a booking provider. So you can see that over here. Booking, Google My Business as a booking provider, as amongst other ones as well, which is interesting to see. Google Dictionary is showing Google Photos or photos within the dictionary results. And that's, as you say, like a picture is worth 1,000 words. Here you can see a search result for slum showing a dictionary result with an image carousel to show you what slums look like. Of course, I wonder if this could be manipulated, but Google launched this recently in the dictionary results. Also, we released 2 videos this week. One was from Frederic Dubut from Bing. He's a lead PM of Bing's core ranking team now. He worked on previously in his history in Microsoft around search. He specifically worked with crawling and indexing and rendering. Then he worked with spam. Then he's now in charge of core ranking and the PM of core ranking, which is very interesting. So it was actually a longer video than normal. This video is about, I think, almost 30 minutes. So definitely take a look at that. It teaches you a lot about how Bing's working. And finally, we also released a fun video with John Mueller. I asked him pretty much 0 SEO questions because he's answering SEO questions all day long, and all I do is cover him answering those SEO questions. So I asked him about his previous career, his life in general. It's a very fun video. Hope you like it. Definitely take a look at that and subscribe, because we have a lot more and interesting videos coming out as well in the future. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. This is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.